Are you making the most of the precious time that you are spending here on earth? Hey everyone, welcome. It's great to see you. This is Jim, and thanks for stopping by. Wherever you are in this world and whatever time you're watching this, I sincerely appreciate you being here. You could be doing any number of things right now, but you chose to spend a few minutes with me, and that makes me extremely grateful. Today, I'm going to be reading from my devotional and then sharing my thoughts on the topic. My hope is that today's message will inspire and encourage you. So, with that being said, let's get started. So, I first started off with, are you making the most of this precious time that we have here on earth? And I can certainly say that if I look back at my life, I have so many regrets of the things that I did not do. There, I have all the shoulda, coulda, wouldas kind of stuff. And the devil has a nice little way of him trying to, at least with me, trying to throw that back in my face a lot. Saying, oh, if you would have done this back then you would have been this much further in life, or you would have been this, happier and this and the other. But that there's no sense in looking in the past and getting stuck in the things that we haven't done or that I haven't done. The only thing that I can do is make better decisions today and try to plant seeds that will help me in the future. So let's go ahead and get into the message, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. Time is one of our most precious gifts, but many of us either waste a lot of it or need more of it. At the end of most people's lives, they wish they had more time. More time to spend with loved ones, more time to make a difference, more time to do the things that really matter in life. Yet, most of us put those things lower on our priority list. Many of us say to ourselves, I'll do it tomorrow, or I just don't have the time right now. Then time slips away from us, and before we know it, years may pass. But one day, it will be too late to take the time to do the things that truly matter. We are only guaranteed this very moment. Take advantage and live, truly live, today. God has given us so many precious gifts, and they are all around us. Don't let fear rob you of what God wants you to do. Forgive those who hurt you. Love those who love you. Do what God has called you to do. The time is now. So, that is the thought of the day. And I made this video actually a couple days ago, and the quality of it, I was really tired, and I was like, you know what, I don't want to put this out there because my enthusiasm level was not very good, and so I was like, I'm going to make this again. I want to do it the right way, and I wanted to, because I want to put a lot of my heart and soul into these kind of videos. So time is the only thing that we cannot get back. We can always get money back. We can always get, relationships and things like that back. Unless, of course, a loved one or somebody dies, whatever, we can't get that back. But the most important thing that people look back at when something like that happens is, I wish I had more time that I could have spent with this person. So, but material things, that's going to come and go. Money is going to come and go. Even, relationships are going to come and go. But the only thing, that we can't get back is time. And so, again, like what I said to start with, a lot of the things that the devil tries to at least attack me with is, oh, you know what, look at the time that you wasted when you made these bad decisions or whatever. And I remember the second rehab that I went into, the worst thing that I like. So when I was getting high and drunk and all that kind of stuff, it kind of has a tendency to make you kind of numb to everything. Your emotional, spiritual, mental, everything is kind of numb. And for people that can drink and get away, and be able to regulate it, that's great. As long as you're not hurting anybody, as long as you're not going out and driving drunk or anything, that kind of stuff. If you can do it, whatever. I'm not going to judge you on that, but I can't do that. I just know that I'm the kind of person that has an addictive personality, and I can't just take one drink or one pill or whatever. I have to go all the way in. So, but one of the things that when I would drink and drug, I would numb out. And when I was doing that, I was wasting time, I guess, because I was like, I like whatever I was going through, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to numb so I don't have to deal with this right now. I'll deal with it tomorrow. And then tomorrow came, and I was like, well, I still don't want to deal with it. So I drank and drugged and numbed myself out, went to the next day. Oh, I'll deal with it tomorrow. And then, that became a week, that became a month, a year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, whatever. that just became a pattern and a cycle. And that's one of the big traps that I think today, and you can just fill in the blank for any kind of addiction, whether it's drugs or alcohol. That's the big. Those are some of the big ones, but you can say like sex or shopping or working or exercising or eating or whatever. You can just fill in the blanks to whatever that you use to numb out for. But just be aware that the devil's trying to get you to waste time, because if he can get you to postpone something, and a lot of times, if you're a child of God, especially if you have a calling in your life, the devil's going to try to hit you harder. He's going to try to really, get you to waste as much time as possible and get you distracted and get you frustrated as much as possible. So just be aware of that, especially if you have a calling on your life. The devil's going to try to probably put a little bit more emphasis on you than he would, with somebody else. So just keep that in mind. But definitely make sure that you don't fall into the trap of I'll do it tomorrow or I just don't have the time. Because think about this. When was the last time that you didn't have time to get gas in your car? You made the time to get gas in your car. Why? Because it's important. You had to be able to get from point A to point B, and you can't do it without gas. So don't give me an excuse of like, oh, I just don't have the time, because you can make time for the things that matter. So get off your tail and start living for God, and start, moving forward with that. I'm here to give you encouragement and give you a little, I believe me, I'm speaking to myself in this. There's a lot of things that I've postponed and I need to start doing, and I am doing a lot of these things, but there's a lot of things that I still have on my list of things to do. So, I encourage you not to postpone, especially if you feel like there's a calling on your life. Don't postpone it. And I can certainly identify with that because, I've looked down at my life and I'm like, 5 years have passed. I made this decision 5 years ago, and all of a sudden now 5 years has passed, or 10 years has passed, or whatever. So don't let time slip away from you, because we're not guaranteed tomorrow. All we got is today, is right now. So make it a point to say, I'm not going to allow this moment to slip away. I'm going to, and believe me, it takes willpower. It takes God power to get motivated to do the things that God wants you to do. And a lot of us will get distracted into the day-to-day work. I hate sitting in traffic, and I hate, a lot of times I don't want to go to work, or I don't want to get up and do this, and I don't want to do these chores around the house, or I don't want to do this, whatever. And don't get me wrong, there has to be time for rest, but there has to be time for action as well. There's been so many times when I'm like consuming a lot. Like I'll watch people live their lives, and I'm like, wow, I wish I did that, but I'm not producing. And that is something I'm trying to get out of the habit of, and that's why I'm doing these videos, because I'm kind of forcing myself to get out of my comfort zone and do things instead of just consume. I'm producing and making stuff, because as a child of God, there's tasks that we have to do in order to get the message out, and just by living our lives too. And you can also do things without having to actually, like just by communicating with people, like just speaking to a stranger or somebody that you work with, just kind of giving them an encouragement or something. But take advantage of today, because you never know when that loved one is going to be the last time that you speak to that person. There could be a car accident, or you could, something could happen to you. So just be aware that all we have is now, and don't waste any more time, because I think just in general, this is one day closer to when Jesus is coming back. I remember as a kid, and I still hear it, oh, Jesus is coming back today, or he's coming back in next week, or he's coming back, whatever. But it's whatever, regardless, Jesus is coming back, and it's one day closer than it was yesterday. So that's one less day that you have, and that time is getting shorter and shorter every day. And I don't want to alarm anybody, but take advantage of today. Use every day like it's your last, and live every day like it's your last, because you never know. One day it will be. So I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to be a negative, influence or anything on you, but I want to, motivate you and encourage you, because when you start living for God, when you start doing things that you've been putting off or whatever, you're going to start to feel a lot better. There's going to be a lot more rewards that come, for things. But take advantage and live every day. Don't just exist, but truly live, and try to make every day, try to make a difference in one person's life, or at least one. Just make one positive thing happen in either your life or somebody else's life. If you can just leave one, an impact of leaving this world, one thing better, that you found when you woke up this morning. If you can just do one thing in this world by the end of the day, just one thing positive, and especially for something in God's kingdom, then imagine the ripple effect that you'll have. Like when you do one thing, like if I did this one thing today, I encourage this one person that I haven't talked to in a year or something, or maybe I spoke to a stranger and encouraged them, or maybe I did this with a coworker or a family member, I helped them or something. I don't know, but if you just do one thing that's a positive impact in this world, imagine what that will add up to at the end of your life. Because when a lot of people get to the end of their life, they're like, I guarantee it, most people are, I would say most people are probably like, I wish I had more time. I remember hearing a story of somebody that they were extremely rich, and they were older, and his wife had gotten a terminal illness, and he had, multiple hundreds of millions of dollars, and he was like asking the doctors, he's like, hey, if you could cure my wife, I'll give you all my money. I'll give you my my $250 million that I have. The doctors were like, we can't do it. There's nothing we can do. It's out of our control. And his biggest regret was he wished that he had more time with his wife, because he spent all of his time at work and doing stuff, and don't get me wrong, you have to go to work, you have to do that kind of stuff, but if we change our priorities to the things that really matter, time becomes more of a friend rather than an enemy. So make sure that your life is lining up with what God's will is, and the time that you have here on this earth will be much more valuable in the way that you spend it. And the rewards that you get when you are using God's time that He's blessed you with, the rewards will be so much greater when you're using it for God's will rather than your own personal. So anyway, I know it's kind of all over the place on that, but I wanted to encourage you and just basically say, hey, love those who love you, forgive those who hurt you, and do what God has called you to do, because you don't know how much time you have left. But take advantage of today, and take advantage of now, and truly live today. So hopefully this video was encouraging to you. Let me know in the comments. I appreciate you subscribing to the channel if you haven't already, and share this video, like this video. Thanks for stopping by. This is Jim. Be encouraged, never give up, and God bless. Thanks.